59 News at 6 starts now.
We now know the trial date for the man many people blame for the Upper Big Branch mine disaster. Welcome to 59 News at 6. I'm Sarah Piscineri.
And I'm Dan Thorne. Former Massey Energy Chief Executive Don Blankenship was in court in Beckley today. He pleaded not guilty to conspiracy charges. We have 59 News team coverage of today's event. We begin now with 59 News reporter Brandon Bates, who's live.
Well, you're absolutely right, and you could literally hear a pin drop today in the courtroom as Don Blankenship took his seat. Friends and family of those 29 miners who lost their lives filled the courtroom today in search of some justice, and they wanted to see if former Massey Energy CEO Don Blankenship would spend time behind bars. Once Blankenship went under oath, he entered a not guilty plea, and although there's a lot of people who think it's hard to believe.
There's no way a CEO of a company doesn't know what's going on in their company. Now, whether they can prove that in court, I don't know. But it's just sad. I couldn't live with myself.
After hearing both sides, Magistrate Vandervoort set Blankenship's bond to $5 million cash. Blankenship is also not allowed to leave the state unless he's visiting lawyers in D.C. and Kentucky. His trial is set for January 26th at 9 a.m. Now we continue our team coverage to Ariel Rothfield. She's live with more. Ariel.
Well, Brandon, we never saw Blankenship enter the court, and we never saw him leave despite camping out in front of every entrance to this courthouse. Now, one of the reasons might be because of a gag order a federal judge issued last week prohibiting Blankenship, the prosecution, and even the victims' families from speaking to us. But despite that gag order, many of the families who are here in court today say they want their story heard.
I think it's good. I think it's something that we need.
Bobby Sanger lost his brother-in-law, Benny Willingham. Benny was one of 29 miners killed during an explosion at the Upper Big Branch mine. And since then, nothing's been the same.
We lost a wonderful family member. My wife lost a best friend. His mother's still alive. She lost a son who should bury a child. So maybe we can get a little comfort.
Now, the former CEO of Massey Energy, Don Blankenship, is facing charges of conspiracy, fraud, and making false statements. A federal indictment alleges he put profits over safety.
Let me state for the record, Massey does not place profits over safety. We never have, and we never will, period.
In the courtroom, Blankenship appeared to be relaxed, glancing back at family members, smiling occasionally. But a judge's decision on the conditions of bond had many in the courtroom relieved.
And until you walk in the shoes of someone like us that have lost someone, it's hard to explain.
As we mentioned, the trial is expected to start on January 26th. It's scheduled to begin at 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, many family and friends in the courtroom tell me they will be there for every step of the way. Reporting live in Beckley, Ariel Rothfield, working for you.
All right, Ariel, thanks. A lot of work went into making sure today's proceedings went off without a hitch.
In anticipation of Blankenship's arraignment today, security was at an all-time high. Throughout the morning, officers, including those with Homeland Security, circled the building to ensure no one with bad intentions was planning anything. Around 10 officers were seen throughout the day securing the building. Security was even tighter inside, where metal detectors and X-ray machines were the final line of defense before anyone entered the courtroom. Blankenship isn't the only Massey Energy official that's been in the hot seat after the explosion.
The blame was shifted to other employees that worked at the mine and for Massey Energy. 59 News anchor Jessica Schuler is taking a look at who was taking the heat.
That's right. After the mine explosion, friends and family members of the fallen miners were looking for answers. Who was responsible? It took years for anyone to be held accountable, but several high-ranking officials within the organization were convicted. Since the UBB mine tragedy, 3 former Massey Energy employees have taken the brunt of the blame for the explosion. Former Security Chief Huey Stover was convicted of lying to investigators, attempting to destroy evidence during the federal criminal investigation. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Gary May, the former mine superintendent, was sentenced on federal conspiracy charges. May cooperated with prosecutors in their continuing criminal investigation of the explosion at the Upper Big Branch mine. mine. He admitted to charges that he defrauded the government through actions such as disabling a methane gas monitor and falsifying records. He was sentenced to 21 months in prison and fined $20,000. And Massey Energy executive David Hugart was accused of letting miners know when MSHA inspectors were coming. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison for conspiracy. David Hugart was the first to cast blame on the Massey Energy CEO in connection with the safety violations at UBB. Working for you, I'm Jessica Schuler.
All right, Jessica, thank you. All three have served or are serving time in prison. Our team coverage continues now with 59 News reporter Megan Carr.
She talked to people in the community of Whitesville today to see how they feel about the hearing.
4 years ago, an explosion occurred at the Upper Big Branch mine in Montcole. The explosion killed 29 miners, only 2 miners survived, leaving a local community devastated and still trying to heal to this day. I spoke to the community today about the reaction to Don Blankenship's indictment and the upcoming trial. One man said Blankenship has never been popular around these parts.
Not popular at all. Even before the accident, the disaster, he was not popular, nor was Massey Coal. He I wouldn't say quite hated, but let's just say he was a persona non grata.
It's no secret people in this community have strong feelings towards Don Blankenship. I spoke to one man who says he lost many friends on April 5th, 2010.
They put the value or the dollar over the men's lives, and we've lost a lot of men due to this. And I've lost quite a few good friends.
Other people in the community who didn't want to speak on camera say they hope Blankenship is held accountable for the explosion and not taking the steps to prevent it. In Greenbrier County, Megan Carr, 59 News.
People in Whitesville say they hope Blankenship is brought to justice.
On the topic of mine safety, new legislation could help miners get black lung benefits faster and easier than before. The Black Lung Benefits Improvement Act of 2014 was introduced today by Senators Jay Rockefeller and Joe Manchin, among others. The legislation is the latest effort Rockefeller has made in recent years to fight black lung disease and to help miners and their families already suffering from it.
Breaking news in Fayette County right now. Police are on the scene of an active shooter situation at a house on Greentown Loop Road in Oak Hill. Details are limited at this hour, but people who live there say it started with a domestic dispute inside the home and shots were fired. Police arrived on scene and were soon in a standoff. We have a crew on the scene that tell us police are now inside the house. No word on any arrests yet. Stay with 59 News for the latest developments. We're finally seeing more sun today. This is a live look over the slopes at Winter Place Ski Resort right here. They're getting ready for the start of their season in just a few weeks, but could it be warming up? Storm Tracker 59 meteorologist Kristen Ketchel has a look in your first forecast. Hi, Kristen.
Hi there, Sarah. Hi, everyone. From Winter Place to Snowshoe, the ski resorts are loving it. Snowshoe actually making snow on the mountain right now. Cold enough there to make some snow tonight, and we are going to see temperatures just about everywhere falling into the teens overnight. Nothing being picked up on our Storm Tracker 59 HD dual live Doppler radar besides a whole lot of radar clutter right now. We don't have any precipitation falling from the sky, and we can expect things to stay dry and cold as we head through tonight. It's 34 degrees right now in Beckley, 38 currently in Bluefield. It's 37 in Lewisburg, 32 in Marlinton, 34 right now in Pineville. Temperatures will fall fast overnight, but we do have some warmer weather heading our way this weekend. I'll have your complete forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Kristen, a Fayette County teenager is hit by a pickup truck at his bus stop. Now a 60-year-old man is facing hit-and-run charges. Deputies say the boy was hit in front of Mountaineer Mobile Home Park in Hilltop yesterday. Investigators say Lilton Knight was driving the truck and left the scene. The teen was later taken to an area hospital. Deputies say his injuries are not life-threatening. Knight is now charged with leaving the scene of an accident involving personal injury, among other charges. A Mercer County man accused of setting fire to 5 buildings in Matoka in August is in court today.
59 News reporter Courtney Van Adder was at the hearing. She's live in the newsroom with the details. Courtney.
Thanks, guys. Brandon Coombs was originally being charged with third-degree arson and entering without breaking, which could lead to 15 years in prison. Thursday, Coombs entered a plea agreement. Coombs pleaded guilty to 1 count of entering without breaking, and in return, the state will not go forward with pressing the charges for arson. This plea could have a sentence of 1 to 10 years, but Chief Summers out of Matoka says that he hopes he sees less time in prison and more time in a rehabilitation center because that is what he really needs.
He did not intentionally mean to cause the damage that he did. Mr. Coombs has become a product of our society, especially here. We're a very southern area, very rural, high poverty.
Others feel that this man ruined a whole town and deserves to go to prison.
I mean, I think he should pay or get something out of what he did right here. I really do. That's terrible what he did. And I don't think nobody's going to clean it up either.
These buildings are nothing but rubble since they caught fire back in August. Officer Summers tells us that because the buildings were so old, which means they're uninsured, that fixing them isn't going to be an easy process.
The restructuring of those buildings right now where they're remaining private, no public funding can be used, therefore funding is going to rely on them.
Chief Summers went on to remind us how Coombs accidentally set the building on fire.
Went into the building to be by himself. He was smoking a cigarette, and in that building there was a lot of trash. It was in the process of being remodeled.
Coombs was intoxicated at the time and did not call the fire department. This is why Chief Summers says it's so important that he goes to rehab and not prison. Reporting live in the newsroom, Courtney Vanatter, 59 News.
All right, Courtney, thank you. Coombs will be in court again on January 16th for his sentencing.
With the cold weather outside and the heat inside, your skin can take a beating.
And it seems your hands get hit the hardest. How you can keep your skin healthy, coming up.
And as we go to break, here's another look over Winter Place Ski Resort in Raleigh County. Storm Tracker 59 meteorologist Kristen Ketchel has a look at the warm-up headed our way after the break.
You're watching 59 News at 6 on CBS 59. Now in high definition with Dan Thorne and Sarah Pictionary. And Storm Tracker 59 weather with meteorologist